The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a silver teardrop. Captain John Miller stared at it through the viewport of the International Space Station's new diplomatic wing. After decades of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, the aliens had found humanity instead. "They're requesting to speak with our representatives again," said Olivia Grant, adjusting her blue uniform as she floated into the chamber. As the station's top science officer, she'd been working nonstop since first contact 7 days ago. John nodded. "Did they say what about this time?" "No, but they seemed." Olivia paused, searching for the right word. Worried. The communication screen flickered to life, revealing the now familiar face of Ambassador Zell. The alien had greenish-gray skin with small ridges where eyebrows would be on a human. Its large eyes blinked sideways. "Greetings, Earth representatives," Zell said, its translator converting the series of clicks and whistles into English. "The Galactic Council has completed its preliminary assessment of your world." John straightened his posture. This was the moment humanity had been waiting for. Acceptance into the wider galactic community. "We are ... Zell hesitated, its skin changing to a darker shade. Concerned. "Your planet has been classified as a Class 12 Deathworld." Olivia moved closer to the screen. "A what?" "In our classification system, habitable planets are rated from Class 1 to Class 12 based on environmental dangers. Class 12 is the most extreme category. No known sentient species has ever evolved naturally on such a planet." John and Olivia exchanged glances. "What exactly makes Earth so dangerous by your standards?" John asked. The alien's skin rippled in what they had learned was the equivalent of a sigh. "Where to begin? Your atmosphere contains oxygen, a highly reactive gas that causes fire. Your planetary crust experiences constant movement, creating earthquakes and volcanoes. Your weather systems generate tornadoes, hurricanes, and lightning strikes. Your biosphere contains countless venomous and predatory species." Zell continued listing dangers that humans had simply adapted to over thousands of years. The more the alien spoke, the more John realized how strange Earth must seem to species from gentler worlds. "Ambassador," Olivia said when Zell finally paused, "these are just normal conditions for us. We've evolved to survive on Earth." "That is precisely what troubles the Council," Zell replied. "You shouldn't have." A statement hung in the air between them. "What do you mean?" John asked. "The odds of intelligent life evolving naturally under such harsh conditions are astronomically low. Many on the Council believe your planet must be ... Zell seemed to struggle with the concept. "Artificial, designed." Olivia laughed, then quickly composed herself when she realized the alien was serious. "You think someone made Earth dangerous on purpose?" she asked. "The evidence suggests it. The precise balance of lethal conditions on your world appears too perfect to be coincidental." Before John could respond, another alien appeared beside Zell. This one had darker skin with faint blue markings. "I am Councilor Rev of the Versailles," the newcomer said. "My species specializes in planetary formation science. The conditions on Earth show signs of engineering that date back millions of years." "That's impossible," Olivia said. "Our geological records would not show evidence of the type of quantum-level manipulations we detect." Rev interrupted. "Whoever designed your world was extremely advanced, even by our standards." John felt a chill despite the station's regulated temperature. Why would anyone create a deadly planet? "That is what troubles us," Zell said. "Deathworlds have only one purpose in galactic history: testing grounds or prisons." The communication suddenly split into multiple screens as other council members joined the discussion. Arguments broke out in various alien languages, with translations struggling to keep up. John caught phrases like security risk and quarantine protocol. Olivia leaned close to John. "They're afraid of us." or afraid of whatever they think our planet was built to contain. He whispered back. The arguing stopped when a small, almost transparent alien appeared on the central screen. The other council members immediately fell silent. I am Elder Tiv of the Watchers, the being said in a voice that seemed to echo inside John's mind rather than come through the speakers. We are the oldest living species in the galaxy. Even Zell and Rave seemed surprised by this appearance. The situation with Earth requires careful consideration, Elder Tiv continued. Captain Miller and Officer Grant, would you consent to a private discussion? There are matters the full council is not privy to. Before John could ask how the alien knew their names, Zell protested. Elder, this violates protocol. All first contact proceedings must be transparent to the council. This is beyond protocol. Elder Tiv replied. The Watchers invoke ancient right of direct communication. The other aliens reluctantly disconnected, leaving only Elder Tiv on the screen. We can speak freely now, the Elder said. What I tell you must not leave this conversation yet. John nodded cautiously. We're listening. Your Earth is indeed artificial, but not in the way the Council suspects. It was not designed to contain your species. Your species was designed to contain something else. Olivia gripped the edge of the console. Contain what? We call them the Devourers. They nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy 300,000 years ago. The civilizations of that era, including my ancestors, fought a war that almost ended everything. The Elder's form seemed to flicker with the weight of ancient memories. Earth was not built as a prison. Earth was built as a forge. A forge for what? John asked. For you, humans, the conditions of your world, every predator, every disaster, every challenge, were precisely calculated to shape your evolution, to create beings capable of serving as living locks. That's insane, Olivia said. Why wouldn't these ancients just build a mechanical prison? Because the Devourers exist partially outside physical reality. They can escape any material barrier, but they cannot escape the unique neural patterns of evolved consciousness. Patterns that your species developed specifically because of Earth's harsh conditions. John's mind raced with implications. Are you saying humanity exists just to be jailers? I am saying humanity exists because someone needed wardens, strong enough to contain the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known. And the Council fears that your discovery of interstellar travel may have disrupted the containment. Alarm began to sound on Earth below. Through the viewport, John could see unusual lights spreading across the night side of the planet. It may already be too late, Elder Tiv whispered. They're waking up. Kate Ward wiped sweat from her forehead as she carefully brushed dirt from the cave wall. The underground chamber, deep beneath the Amazon rainforest, was hot and humid, but what she had found made the uncomfortable conditions worth it. Her flashlight revealed rows of strange symbols carved into the stone. Peter, come look at this, she called to her colleague. Peter Simmons set down his equipment and joined her. As the expedition's linguist, he had spent years studying ancient writing systems, but he had never seen anything like these markings. How old do you think they are? He asked, running his fingers gently over the carvings. The preliminary dating puts them at least 50,000 years old, Kate said. But that's impossible. Humans in this region didn't have writing systems that far back. Peter took photos of the symbols with his tablet. These don't match any known human writing. They look more like ... He stopped, his eyes widening. Like what? Like the fragments we found on Mars. 5 years earlier, the first human mission to Mars had discovered similar symbols in a cave near Olympus Mons. At the time, scientists had debated whether they were actually writing or just natural formations in the rock. Now, there could be no doubt. We need to tell someone about this, Kate said. Peter nodded, but then paused. Who exactly? After everything that's happened this week, I'm not sure who's in charge anymore. The news from space had thrown the world into chaos. Reports of alien contact, followed by strange lights in the sky and unexplained earthquakes, had governments around the world declaring states of emergency. Communication systems were overloaded, and rumors spread faster than facts. I still have contacts at the National Science Center, Kate said. Let's try them first. As they packed up their equipment, neither noticed the slight vibration in the mess cave floor, nor the faint whispers that seemed to come from the deeper tunnels. 3 days later, Kate and Peter stood in a secure room at the National Science Center. Their discovery had moved up the chain of command with surprising speed. Now they were joined by a small alien with translucent skin who introduced itself as Jurek, a scientist from the Versailles species. Your discovery is significant, Jurek. Syed, examining the photos and samples they had brought. These are warning markers. Warning about what? Peter asked. The sleeping ones. The alien's skin rippled with what seemed to be concern. My people have seen similar markers on other worlds. They always appear on planets with special purposes. Kate frowned. What kind of special purposes? Containment, preservation, protection. Jurek pointed to a specific set of symbols. This refers to Earth as the containment sphere. This part describes energies that must not be disturbed. Peter leaned forward. Can you translate all of it? Not alone. The language is ancient, from before my species achieved space travel. But I have brought translation algorithms that may help. They spent hours feeding the symbols into Jurek's alien technology. Slowly, patterns emerged. It's a message from the past, Peter said, reading the partial translation. It talks about those who sleep beneath and the barriers of flesh and mind. Kate pointed to another section. This part seems to be instructions. Something about maintaining balance and avoiding deep excavation in certain areas. Those would be the nexus points, Jurek explained. Places where the containment is thinnest. A scientist from the center, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Are you saying there's something dangerous buried under Earth? Not buried, Jurek corrected. Contained. And yes, extremely dangerous. The beings your people are now calling the Devourers. Kate remembered the news reports about Captain Miller and Officer Grant's communication with the alien watchers. So it's true? Earth was designed as some kind of prison? Not exactly a prison, Jurek said. The ancients couldn't kill the Devourers, but they could bind them to a physical realm. They created Earth with specific conditions that would allow for the evolution of your species. Why us? Peter asked. Human brains generate unique neural patterns that, when combined across billions of individuals, create a barrier the Devourers cannot pass. You are living locks. The implications stunned everyone in the room. Humans had always thought they were the masters of Earth, the pinnacle of evolution. Now they were learning they might be just one component in an ancient security system. The recent disturbances suggest the containment is weakening, Jurek continued. We must understand these instructions fully if we hope to repair it. While Kate and Peter worked with Jurek on Earth, Captain Miller and Officer Grant had been granted special access to the Galactic Archives. The massive library orbited a star near the center of the galaxy, containing records from thousands of civilizations spanning millions of years. There's so much information, Olivia said, overwhelmed by the holographic displays surrounding them. How do we find what we need? Elder Tiv's assistant, a younger watcher named Laurel, guided them through the system. The archives are organized by time period and significance. We need the records from the Devourer War, approximately 300,000 years ago. The displays shifted, showing images of strange star patterns and ancient ships. John recognized some of the constellations, but they looked slightly different than they did from Earth. The war lasted for what you would call centuries, Laurel. Explained, the Devourers came from outside our galaxy. They consumed energy from living minds, growing stronger with each civilization they destroyed. Olivia studied the battle records. How were they finally defeated? They weren't, not completely. Laurel brought up new images, showing what looked like swirling darkness being pulled toward a bright point of light. The combined forces of 17 advanced civilizations managed to contain the Devourers, but at a terrible cost. Only a few species survived, including the ancestors of my people. John noticed that certain parts of the records were blurred or missing. Why are these sections redacted? Security protocols, Laurel said. Information about the exact containment methods is restricted. We need to see it, John insisted. If Earth is part of this containment, we need to know how it works. Laurel hesitated, then nodded. I will request special access, but it will take time. The Watchers are cautious about sharing such knowledge. As they waited, Olivia discovered something interesting in the unrestricted files. John, look at this. There's a reference to guardian species being placed on specially designed worlds. Humans? Not just humans. She pointed to a list of planets. Earth is on this list, but so are 11 other worlds scattered across the galaxy. The realization hit them both at the same time. We're not alone in this, John said. There are other guardians out there, Olivia agreed. Other species who might not know their true purpose either. A message from Laurel interrupted them. Access to the restricted files had been granted. What they were about to learn would change humanity's understanding of their place in the universe forever. Dr. Susan Bell stared at the brain scan results on her computer screen. As the lead neurologist at Central City Hospital, she had seen thousands of brain scans over her career, but never anything like this. The patterns of activity were unlike anything in medical literature. Double quotes Alan. Can you come look at this? She called to her colleague. Dr. Alan Phillips set down his coffee and walked over. He specialized in unusual brain phenomena and had been working with Susan since the worldwide reports of strange dreams began 3 weeks ago. Another one? He asked, looking at the scan. The 5th today, Susan confirmed. All showing the same unusual activity in the limbic system and frontal lobe. And all patients report identical dream content. Alan studied the images. The synchronicity is impossible by normal standards. People from different countries, different backgrounds, all having the exact same dream about ancient beings rising from underground. It's not just the dreams, Susan said, pulling up another file. Look at these cellular changes. The microscope images showed tiny structures within the brain cells that hadn't been there in samples, taken 6 months earlier. These structures are appearing in every patient we've tested, Susan explained. They're almost like new neural pathways, but they're forming faster than should be possible. Alan sat down heavily. What do you think it means? Before Susan could answer, her phone rang. It was the hospital director, calling about an emergency meeting with government officials. Similar brain changes were being reported worldwide. The meeting took place in a secure conference room. In addition to medical professionals, military officers and scientists from various fields filled the room. Video screens showed participants. From around the world, General Frank Harris, a stern man with gray hair, stood at the front of the room. Thank you all for coming on such short notice. As you know, unusual phenomena have been occurring globally since first contact with the alien. Visitors 3 weeks ago. He displayed a world map covered with glowing red dots. These markers show locations of significant seismic activity that doesn't match known fault lines. The activity is increasing in frequency and intensity. A scientist from the Geological Survey spoke up. Our deep Earth sensors are detecting movement at depths previously thought to be solid. Something is shifting down there. Is it related to the dream reports? Susan asked. "We believe so," the general replied. "Dr. Bell, Dr. Phillips, please share your findings." Susan explained about the brain changes, while Alan presented their data on the shared dream experiences. As they spoke, a military aide entered and handed the general a note. His expression darkened. "We've just received information from our team, working with the alien scientists," General Harris announced. "The Versailles have completed their analysis of the ancient symbols found in the Amazon. They confirm what the Watchers told our space station crew. Earth was engineered as a containment system for entities called the Devourers." He paused, letting the information sink in. "The new information is this: humans were specifically designed to be part of this containment. Our brains generate a specific type of energy field that, when combined across billions of people, creates a barrier keeping these entities imprisoned." The room erupted in questions and exclamations. The general raised his hand for silence. "Dr. Phillips, Dr. Bell, the alien scientists believe the structures you found in human brain cells are actually dormant systems designed to strengthen this barrier. They've been inactive throughout human history, but something is activating them now." Alan frowned. "The shared dreams may be our first conscious connection to what we've been unconsciously containing all along," Susan finished. Across the ocean, in a military bunker, Kate Ward and Peter Simmons continued working, with Zurich on translating the ancient symbols. They had been joined by experts from around the world, all working to understand the full message left by the creators of Earth. "This section describes the containment process," Zurich explained, pointing to a series of symbols. "The Devourers exist partially in what you would call another dimension. They can only be fully trapped by a living network of minds." "Our minds," Kate said. "Yes, human consciousness generates patterns that create a barrier between dimensions. The physical conditions of Earth, what makes it a death world, were designed to ensure your species evolved with the right neural structure." Peter looked up from his notes. "So every predator, every natural disaster, every disease, all carefully calculated to shape human evolution along certain paths," Zurich confirmed, "to make you stronger, more adaptable, and capable of generating the specific mental energies needed for containment." Kate felt a chill. "We evolved thinking we were fighting to survive against Earth's dangers, but really, we were being shaped into wardens." "The process worked remarkably well," Zurich said. "But now the Devourers are stirring. The barrier is weakening." "Why now?" Peter asked. "What changed?" Zurich's skin darkened. "We believe it was your recent technological advancement. The development of certain technologies, particularly your early experiments with quantum computing and artificial intelligence, created ripples in the barrier. A scientist working nearby called them over to her computer. I think I've decoded this part of the message," she said excitedly. "It's describing a kind of activation sequence, something that would strengthen human connection to the containment field." Kate leaned closer. "Can we trigger this activation?" "Possibly," the scientist said. "But according to this, it would connect all human minds more directly to what they're containing." The implications were sobering. Humanity would become more effective wardens, but at the cost of a more direct connection to the horrors they contained. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean floor, something ancient stirred. It had no physical form as humans would understand it, existing as patterns of energy and thought older than the stars themselves. For eons it had slept, trapped by the clever prison the old ones had built, but now the prison was weakening. The barrier of minds that held it showed small tears and thin spots. Through these gaps it reached out, touching the dreams of its jailers, planting seeds of fear and confusion. It remembered freedom. It remembered feeding on the minds of entire civilizations, growing stronger with each consciousness it devoured. It remembered nearly consuming this galaxy before being trapped, and it was hungry Dot as it pushed against its prison walls. The earth above trembled. Volcanoes long dormant began to rumble. The magnetic field of the planet fluctuated, causing compass needles to spin wildly and disrupting electronic systems. Dot in orbit. Captain John Miller and Officer Olivia Grant watched with growing horror as strange lights spread across Earth's surface. The patterns matched those in the ancient records they had seen in the galactic archives, the same patterns that had appeared on other worlds. Just before they were lost to the DEVOURERS. Time was running out for humanity and for Earth. The final choice was approaching: strengthen the prison and accept their role as eternal wardens, or risk everything by trying to destroy what could not be killed. The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tense voices. Representatives from over 200 species had gathered for an emergency session. At the center of the hall, a large holographic display showed Earth, its surface now marked with strange glowing patterns that pulsed like heartbeats. Captain John Miller and Officer Olivia Grant stood on a small platform, feeling out of place among the alien diplomats. They had been brought here directly from the archives by Elder Tiv of the Watchers. "Order," called the council leader, a tall being with 6 limbs. "This emergency session will now begin." The voices quieted. All eyes turned to Elder Tiv as the ancient alien glided to the center of the hall. "Honored representatives," Elder Tiv began, "the situation on Earth has reached a critical point. The containment is failing. We must act quickly." A representative from a reptilian species stood up. "Why should we risk ourselves for this? The humans were designed as wardens. Let them handle their own prison." Murmurs of agreement spread through the hall. "You misunderstand," Elder Tiv said calmly. "If the Devourers escape Earth, they will not stop there. They will spread throughout the galaxy once again, consuming all in their path. None will be spared." This silenced the objections. Elder Tiv nodded to John and Olivia. "These humans have been studying our archives. They have earned the right to know the full truth about their world and their species." John stepped forward. "What we've learned changes everything we thought. We knew about human history. Earth wasn't just found by the ancient civilizations. It was created by them." Olivia continued. "The records show that about 300,000 years ago, the galaxy was nearly destroyed by entities called the Devourers, beings that feed on conscious minds and grow stronger with each one they consume." John gestured to the holographic display. "The ancients couldn't destroy the Devourers, but they found a way to contain them. They created Earth specifically as a prison, with exactly the right conditions to evolve a species that could serve as living Lox humans." A scientist from the Versailles approached the display. "Earth's harsh conditions, what makes it a death world, were not random. Each element was carefully calculated to shape human evolution." The scientist displayed images of Earth's most dangerous features: volcanoes, hurricanes, predators, diseases. The predators forced humans to develop advanced problem-solving skills. Natural disasters required cooperation and social bonds. Diseases strengthened your immune systems and resilience. Even Earth's gravity, higher than most habitable worlds, forced your bodies to grow stronger. Olivia spoke again. "Every challenge that nearly wiped out early humans was actually pushing us to evolve faster, along specific paths, to develop brains capable of generating the exact type of consciousness needed to maintain the prison." The council leader leaned forward. "And now the prison is failing. Why?" "We believe it's due to human technological development," John explained. "Certain technologies, particularly our early artificial intelligence systems, created disturbances in the barrier. Without knowing it, we've been weakening our own defenses." Elder Tiv moved to the center again. "There is more. Show them." The holographic display changed showing a map of the galaxy with 12 planets highlighted. Earth is not the only prison world, Elder Tiv said. The ancients created 12 planets, each holding a portion of the Devourer's essence. Each world evolved its own guardian species. This revelation caused a stir among the council members. What happened to the other worlds? Olivia asked. Elder Tiv's form seemed to dim slightly. 8 have already fallen. Their guardian species either destroyed themselves through war made, the same technological mistakes humans are making, or were simply not strong enough. And the other 3? John asked. Still holding, but showing signs of the same weakening. Earth was designed to be the strongest prison, holding the largest portion of the Devourers. If Earth falls, the others will quickly follow. Meanwhile, on Earth, in the secure facility where Kate Ward and Peter Simmons worked with Jurek, a breakthrough had been made. "We've completed the translation," Peter announced to the room full of scientists and military personnel. The ancient message includes instructions for strengthening the containment. Kate pointed to the display, showing the translated symbols. According to this, humans have dormant abilities, mental powers that have never been activated. The ancients built these capabilities into our DNA, but they remain switched off under normal conditions. General Harris frowned. "What kind of abilities?" "A form of collective consciousness," Jurek explained. "If activated, it would allow humans to consciously reinforce the barrier containing the Devourers." Dr. Susan Bell, who had joined the team with Dr. Alan Phillips, studied the data. "This matches the changes we've been seeing in brain scans worldwide. The dormant structures in human brains are beginning to activate on their own, likely in response to the weakening containment. Can we speed up this activation?" The general asked. Dr. Phillips nodded slowly. "Theoretically, yes, but there's a serious risk." "What risk?" General Harris demanded. "The closer connection to the containment field would also mean a closer connection to what's being contained," Susan explained. "Everyone with an activated brain would have direct awareness of the Devourers. The psychological impact could be devastating." Kate understood the terrible choice before them. "We'd be saving humanity by changing what it means to be human." Jurek's skin rippled with emotion. "There is something else you should know. The records from my world suggest that the ancients who created Earth and the other prison worlds were not just acting out of altruism. Everyone turned to the alien. They were responsible for bringing the Devourers to this galaxy in the first place. Their experiments in consciousness manipulation opened a door that should have remained closed. The prison worlds were their attempt to fix their mistake. This revelation hung heavily in the air. Humanity's entire existence was the result of an ancient civilization's attempt to clean up their own mess. Across Earth, the tremors increased. The strange lights now covered nearly a third of the planet's surface. In major cities, people gathered in the streets, looking up at skies filled with unnatural colors. The collective dreams had become more intense, with billions of people experiencing the same visions of ancient hunger stirring beneath their feet. In orbit, alien ships from the Galactic Council had arrived, observing the situation, but not yet intervening. Some council members argued for evacuation of as many humans as possible before the inevitable catastrophe. Others insisted that removing humans would only weaken the containment further. The truth about Earth and humanity had been revealed, but the most difficult decision still lay ahead. Could humanity accept its true purpose as wardens of ancient horrors? And if they did, would they still be human afterward? The White House Situation Room was packed with world leaders, connected through secure video links. Outside, the skies over every major city glowed with strange lights. Earthquakes had damaged buildings in Tokyo, Cairo, and Los Angeles. The strange, shared dreams now affected almost everyone on the planet. President Laura Bennett looked tired but determined as she addressed the room. "We've all been briefed on the situation. Earth was designed as a prison for these entities called the Devourers. Humans evolved as living locks to keep them contained. Now that containment is failing. On the main screen, Elder Tiv of the Watchers appeared alongside Captain John Miller and Officer Olivia Grant, who had returned from the Galactic Council. "The Council has voted," Elder Tiv announced. "They will offer evacuation for humans who wish to leave Earth. However, their scientists believe that if more than 30% of the human population leaves, the containment will fail completely." President Bennett frowned. "So they're offering to save some of us while leaving the rest to face these devourers?" "It is not ideal," Elder Tiv admitted, "but it may be the only way to save at least part of your species." "And what happens to those who stay behind?" asked the British Prime Minister Dachan stepped forward. "According to the records we studied, in the Galactic Archives, when a containment world fails, the Devourers consume all conscious life on the planet before spreading to other worlds." The room fell silent as the terrible choice became clear. Sacrifice most of humanity to save a fraction, or risk losing everyone and dooming the galaxy. In the research facility beneath the Amazon rainforest, Kate Ward, Peter Simmons, Dr. Susan Bell, and Dr. Alan Phillips worked frantically with Zhu Reek and a team of Earth's best scientists. They had fully translated the ancient instructions found in the cave and combined them with the brain research. "The activation process is possible," Susan explained to General Harris over a video call. "We've identified the specific frequency that would trigger the dormant structures in human brains." "What exactly would this activation do?" the general asked. Alan answered, "It would connect all human minds to the containment field at a conscious level. Currently, our brains maintain the field without our awareness. Activation would make everyone active participants in holding back the Devourers." "And the side effects?" "A form of linked consciousness," Kate said. "Not complete mind reading, but a shared awareness and direct knowledge of what we're containing." The general's expression was grim. "How soon can you have this ready?" 24 hours, Zurich replied. "But you must understand this change will be permanent. Humanity will never be the same afterward." Back in the White House, the discussion had turned to the activation option. President Bennett listened as experts explained the process and its consequences. "So instead of evacuating," she summarized, "we could activate these dormant brain structures and potentially strengthen the containment." "Yes," Olivia confirmed. "But the change would affect everyone on Earth. We would become something different still. Human, but connected in ways we've never been before. And everyone would know about the Devourers," John added. "Everyone would feel them pushing against the barrier." The Chinese president spoke up from his video screen. "This is not a decision governments alone can make. This affects the very nature of humanity. People must choose for themselves." For once, all the world leaders agreed. Within hours, a global broadcast was prepared. President Bennett would explain the situation to the world, presenting both options, evacuation for some or activation for all. As night fell across America, billions of people around the world watched their screens as President Bennett explained humanity's true history and the choice they now faced. "We stand at the most important crossroads in human history," she said. "We can allow some of our people to leave Earth, knowing that those who remain will likely perish. Or we can embrace our destiny as guardians, activating abilities our creators built into us, and fight to keep these entities contained." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "This must be a personal choice. In 12 hours, the activation frequency will be broadcast worldwide. Those who wish to participate should be near any electronic device that can receive the signal. Those who wish to leave may report to the evacuation centers being established by the Galactic Council." As the broadcast ended, people everywhere faced the most difficult decision of their lives. In the Amazon facility, Kate and Peter worked with Susan and Alan to finalize the activation system. Outside, the strange lights in the sky had grown brighter. The ground trembled continuously now. "Do you think people will choose to stay?" Peter asked quietly. Kate looked at the latest reports coming in. "Evacuation centers are almost empty. Most people are staying. Would you leave?" Susan asked Jurek. The alien's skin rippled. "No, my people abandoned one of the prison worlds long ago. We have lived with that shame for generations. I would not repeat their mistake." Alan checked the equipment one last time. "The signal is ready. It will transmit on the President's command." As dawn broke over Washington, D.C., President Bennett received the final reports. Less than 5% of the world's population had chosen evacuation. The vast majority had decided to sigh and fight. With a heavy heart, but newfound pride in humanity, she gave the order to activate the signal. Around the world, the frequency began to broadcast. From radios, televisions, phones, and computers. The signal reached out to nearly 8 billion human minds. As it touched them, the dormant structures in their brains awakened. Kate felt it first as a warmth spreading through her mind. Then came the awareness of others, billions of others, their thoughts and feelings washing over her like gentle waves. She could sense Peter beside her, then Susan and Alan, then people she had never met across the city, the country, the world. And beneath it all, she felt them, the devourers. Ancient hunger, endless patience. Alien minds so vast and terrible that she would have gone mad if she had faced them alone. But she wasn't alone. Billions of human minds stood with her, forming a wall of conscious will against the horror. In orbit, Captain Miller and Officer Grant watched in awe as the strange lights on Earth's surface began to recede. The tremors slowed, then stopped. The devourers were being pushed back into their prison. "It's working," Olivia whispered. Elder Tiv nodded. "They have accepted their purpose. Humanity has become what it was always meant to be. On Earth, people everywhere stood together in a unity never before experienced in human history. They were still individuals, still themselves, but now they were also part of something greater, conscious guardians of not just their world, but the entire galaxy. Earth remained a death world, harsh and dangerous. But now humanity understood why. Every challenge, every danger had shaped them into being strong enough to contain the greatest threat the universe had ever known. The mystery of Earth's deadly design had been solved at last. It wasn't designed to kill humans, it was designed to forge them into something powerful enough to save everything else.